welcome to another episode of Chatty Broads with Bekah and Jess.
Good morning.
Good morning. We have our beers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. And the voices who brought us our beers. It's Becca's best first date ever.
It's Becca's best days ever, Erik. And that's the only reason we're drinking beers. Yeah.
I don't do this all the time, so I need to loosen up, you know?
Yeah, no, you need to just relax. We got a
beers in the morning or podcasts in the morning?
Podcast in the morning.
Podcast in the morning. I mean, today will be, okay, if you broads haven't listened, we did an episode, I think last year.
It was a year ago. It was last July.
Crazy.
Whoa,
Time
That
flies.
this morning.
Wild.
And yeah, that was a very fun episode. We got into why Erik was the best first date ever. It was very fun. And today we thought that we would just do some relationship advice because we also did that in the last episode. And it was
Yeah,
great.
and I have to be real, you know, Erik, you really brought the heat with the relationship advice.
No, you did.
It was very good. And a lot of our listeners were like, you need to have him back on because we need some more of the honesty.
It was honest and firm, but wise.
Yeah. I got a lot of comments from your guys' community. You guys have such a strong community
They're
of
engaged.
chatty broads.
Yes,
engaged.
yes.
And a lot of them were thanking me for good advice. And for
that's so nice.
I don't know how long it lasted, but like a month and a half, it was just constantly, you know, that wasn't my story, but wow, it was good to hear this. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And I was just like, all right, you know, this wasn't just me
You're like,
going
I'm
on
a
and
sage, I'm a god. Thank you for
I mean,
reminding me.
I've been through enough dating to you know, figure some stuff out by now. And it was cool. I was worried that, you know, girls are going to be like, you're a dickhead,
Yeah.
you know, you're like, and I got none of that. It
Yeah.
was all just raw, honest advice from the male perspective.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
well,
that was
Bekah brings up one of your pieces of advice quite often on our show.
What is it again?
It's the one about like if you wanted to, you would.
Yeah,
type.
if it was that, it was something like
There was
that.
such a wise saying, and I feel
don't-
like you drop it often.
I don't know. You said something, but I always bring it up when we're doing advice where I'm like, well, like when we had Erik on the podcast, he said this, and it's some hard truth.
The one I
about
really
like,
liked was, if he doesn't like you, you'll be confused.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it. That's
it.
And if
That's
he
the
likes
one.
you, you'll know it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. And
And I'll be honest, I've thought about that so many times in this past year with my other friends. Like, you know, when they're not sure about what energy some guy that they're interested in is putting out. And as soon as they're like, I feel confused, I'm like, well,
Sorry to say it, but it's helpful, you know? It sucks,
Yeah.
but it's helpful.
but you're not wasting your time that way. You're not
Yeah.
wasting your energy.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like when I think back on like my past with different friends, even myself, where I'm like, man, the amount of time I wasted like curious instead of just moving forward and enjoying my
I kind of
life.
miss that, but I think I romanticize those eras more than I was actually
You mean the
feeling
eras
at
when
the time.
you were just getting the confused vibe from the guy?
Definitely.
There's something exciting about it.
It
You know?
is. You're like, and then they do text you and you're like, you get a rush. And then, yeah, it's really up and down. So sometimes I miss it, but then sometimes I remember that feeling of when you're realizing that he is just not that into you. It's like,
That-
oh, well,
that crushing
that fucking
feeling.
sucks. I didn't care that much about him and now I'm obsessed with him.
Right,
That's true.
that
You know,
part.
that's the
That's
plain hard to
true.
get thing. It works
like,
every time.
I feel fortunate that I don't really have that thing in me that I've watched other people do. You know, they're like, they don't like me. Well, I'll prove that. I'll prove them wrong. You know, don't do that.
I'm similar to you. I'm a little bit like if I find that they don't like me, I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah.
What if they don't?
And then I
well, if
hate
someone
them.
actually is like, I don't like you, then I'm like, ew, I don't like you anyway. It's not that kind of thing. It's like when they're kind of like giving you the half in, half out, and then I'm kind of like, wait, now, like I need your
that whole like
validation
trying
more
to
than
convince
anything.
them to like come on your side. I don't think people should do that.
No, that's sad.
Yeah.
And then what if you do convince them? Then that's not really coming from a place of genuine
No.
like interest. Then you're just kind of persuading them to be
I've been
into
convinced in the past.
Have
Those
you?
things never work out. You know.
In like a long-term relationship, you've
Yeah,
been
yeah. you get-
persuaded?
yeah, like in the beginning, you're not that into it, and then you give those vibes, and then all of a sudden they're like the greatest human being alive, and then you're like, what was I thinking? This is like actually pretty cool. And then it just ends up back to where it started, which was like, oh, they were just convincing me.
I guess I actually have persuaded people before into dating me and then into like even taking things a step further. And then the funny thing is that then I end up getting kind of grossed out by it. Like I've persuaded them into being in love with me. And then I'm kind of like, not really that into
Well, just
this.
because you just got obsessed with like the challenge. You weren't obsessed with the person.
Conquered. Next. Let's go. That's sad.
Speaking of that, kind of off of this, there was a question. So we had a bunch of questions sent in numerous weeks ago. We did a little bit of relationship advice with our friends Craig and Sadie, and we have so many left over. Like we gotta.
Wait, what was the thing you said? You teased something in the kitchen about me.
I will, but this is kind of off of. This is now off.
We'll do a natural segue.
And then I would like to bring up an email that we received. This is a complimentary email.
You should wait till the first beer is done before you tell her the email.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, also, wait. Also, Eric, why don't you give your relationship advice credentials? Say some stuff about yourself, about your life, real quick.
I dated a bunch, and I've seen all sorts of different dating scenarios. I've been on both sides of every type of thing you can be in, and then relationship therapy. I did that for some time, took it very serious, learned a lot from it, and my life has been forever better in the dating world since. So,
and probably in other relationships too.
Absolutely, yeah. Use all that. It just teaches you how to communicate. So I've used that advice to communicate with my family and employees and whatever, everyone, friends.
That's great.
So I think is that enough?
Perfect.
Beautiful.
Like, my credentials. I'm happy.
That's good.
I'm in a successful relationship.
That's great.
Yes.
Seems to work very easily now that I got these tools. Mm-hmm. And
She's off the
over
camera, right? I'm giving it a
looking
thumbs up
stunning
to
off to the side.
We had just started dating like right when we did this podcast.
I know, and you like introduced her so weird. You were like, "Hey, this is my friend I've been hanging out with." I'm like, "What?" Jess and I after were like, was that his girlfriend? What the fuck does that mean?
Well, it wasn't a girlfriend yet. I mean, that was last July. Yeah, like 2 weeks, I think we'd been hanging out at that point. It was very new.
Okay.
We were hanging pretty hard for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say you came like I'm like if someone was doing a podcast.
She's a fan of Bekah's.
Oh, are you a Bachelor fan?
Oh,
she would host.
Then you're gonna like this email.
Yeah, she would host like full on Bachelor nights with all the girls, and yeah.
No, do you still watch? No, I know. This is my last season recapping that we're doing right now. Sorry. Okay. No, that was the last good season. Don't apologize. You're the one who said you don't want to talk. Okay. Anyway, yeah, you introduced her so weird though, and we were like, I don't like know what that. Both of us after were like, I don't
dating
because you said like, oh yeah, I needed to borrow a car or something, and then that's how or something about a car.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, were you guys just doing some business stuff that day, and that's why she came? Like it was ambiguous.
It did start with just like wanting to borrow a car, and then here we are.
Aww,
a year later, it's beautiful.
It's
1 year later, not fighting.
Oh,
that's great.
Love to hear that.
Or is it coming?
Oh my god!
Down there, what is
the Grim Reaper over here? Is it coming?
Is the fighting gonna come when you guys?
No, I don't know. We things pop up, but we just talk about them kind of right then and there and get through it, and it doesn't turn into a fight. I think that's another thing I said the last time was there's direct communication. There's everything else. I've taken that pretty seriously in my life, and we just nip it in the butt.
I think that's the biggest thing, because something I've been learning recently is like one of the biggest killers of relationships is resentment. And like if you have resentment, then that's just gonna be in the undercurrent of any verbal exchange. Even when you're like, hey, could you remember to like take out the trash? If you have resentment, then you're like, I always take out the trash. You're the one who doesn't do it. Like it's like just is like shifting under the surface.
And if you just took a second and was like, hey, can we talk about the trash for 1 second?
Yeah.
Before it becomes weird.
Yeah.
I mean, even last night, she came over for a second and she was like, come over and like stay the night. And I wanted to get up early and handle some stuff. And I thought to myself, like, yeah, I'd much rather come over. That would be more enjoyable. But I don't want to resent her in the morning when all the stuff doesn't get done.
Even though you made the decision.
Yeah, so I had to be like strong and be like, no, I cannot come because otherwise I will resent you later.
Yeah.
As fault of my own.
Yeah.
Sure, but
and that's so unfair.
But you know yourself.
Right.
So you're like, okay, if you're communicating, I think often when you have a partner, even though those moments can be kind of like painful when you hear something that you don't want to hear, it's like, well, at least I know that the person's being transparent with me.
Yeah.
I'm not having to guess.
Yeah.
And then I can work through my own process. You give your partner the opportunity to work through their own process when you're honest.
Also,
in
when
those
people
ways.
are being resentful, a lot of the times they think they're like sparing the other person, but you can feel it in the energy, in the
Yes.
exchange. You're like, dude, I know something's
Yes.
off here. And it's like, I can feel it in my stomach that you're not saying the things you want to say.
Oh, when
Yeah,
I'm
girls
resentful.
have that intuition too.
You can
Oh
feel,
yeah, I can feel the slight. I'm like, what's going on?
I was gonna say you can feel my resentment from miles away.
yeah,
When
it's
I'm
all over
resentful
my
about
face.
something, I'm
It's
just
like-
like,
You can't hide it very well.
Disgusted. It's just like, you piece
just
of shit.
rage, just seeping off.
I wanted
of
to
me.
go last night, babe. Yeah. I did it for us.
You and him.
It was for your future. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Hit
so kind of off of what we were talking about a minute ago, someone asks, what does it mean when my ex says that he's not sure he's what I need right now?
Oh, please.
Wait, he's already an ex?
Yeah, so I'm imagining
She's trying to get.
either that or
Oh,
he's her
hate this.
ex now, but like she was saying maybe that's
Oh,
how
why
he
did it-
broke up with
Yeah,
her.
maybe
Like,
she's like, why
he's not
did
what-
we break up?
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Oh,
go with that
God.
scenario. I think it's easier to tackle.
Yeah, I think
Because if
so,
it's an
too.
ex, I'm just going to write this one off and be like, just who cares what your ex is saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the question again? I'm in this space. Sorry.
Okay.
I think she's probably. My guess is she's probably trying to read into why they broke up. She's probably like, I don't get it. We were doing so good. Why did we break up? That's my guess.
You're not what I need right now?
Yes.
No,
What does it mean?
I'm not what you need right now. Is what
Yeah.
he's saying.
What,
I know,
what
right?
does it
That's-
mean when my ex says that he's not sure he's what I need right now?
Shut up.
That he's just trying to like, he's
Soften
trying
the
to get
blow.
out and he's trying to like put it on her or something, you know?
Which,
he's just
but
being-
yeah, it's like take that cue that like not to talk shit on your ex if you still are in love with him, but that's that's just a shitty
Just be
move.
straight up. Just be like, you're not. This is the relationship I want. That's what's happening.
Yeah. No, I think the idea of someone saying I'm not what you need right now, it's like, well, first of all, don't speak for me because only I can speak for me. So don't say that.
I guess that could actually be the case if she's looking for someone who's like really committed to a relationship and ready to move ahead and like start a family or whatever. And that's like, he's like, that's not the direction I want to go in. I guess that could be a true statement of
I've
like,
totally said this before.
Okay. And what did you mean?
And I was right.
Okay.
This is like going back to like getting convinced or something. I remember just like not wanting to be in a relationship. And then this other person kind of did. And I was just like, I'm not in a space where I want to be a good boyfriend. Like I didn't want to consider someone. I'd come out of a long-term relationship. And, you know, when you're with somebody, they're considered in every decision you make, whether it's like, I'm going to go to the beach or I'm going to have a meal, whatever it is, you like consider your partner and
Yes.
you're like, hey, I was going to eat right now. You hungry? And I remember feeling like I'm released of that right now. I don't want to consider someone. I just want to fly free. And then I was like, you don't want this, you know?
Yeah.
If I was to be a boyfriend, I'd be a shitty boyfriend because I don't want to consider you.
yep.
And then she was like, don't speak for me, you know?
Yeah.
You don't tell me what I need and don't
Sure.
need. You don't tell me what I like. And then I was like, okay. And then I was a shitty boyfriend.
And then she wasn't happy.
And then she wasn't happy.
Yeah.
And it was sucky, you know? I
Yeah.
don't know. It was just like, maybe it could have been avoided, but the heart wants what it wants, right? My heart at that point wanted to feel free. She didn't care. She's like, I like this free loving dude. And so we tried and it didn't work. And there was like a lot of it not working, you know? I don't know how to avoid that. How do you tell someone what they want or don't want? And
But I guess if he's saying that, that means that he doesn't want to enter back in a relationship with her or stay with her, right? Regardless of whether or not he actually wants to be with her. If he's saying, I'm not, I don't know. I feel like even if it's not expressed correctly, that's his intuition saying like, this relationship isn't working.
yeah, it's like, he's just not saying the whole story.
Or he
He's
doesn't
like,
know the whole story.
yeah, true.
What's happening.
I feel like so much of the shit though that we get entangled in relationships is because we don't want to hurt the other person, right?
Yeah.
Or I'll be honest, I know for myself, a lot of times it's not even about hurting the other person. I don't want to feel uncomfortable.
No,
And
or
what
be
makes me-
inconvenienced by them
What makes
being
me
upset.
feel uncomfortable is when you're hurt.
Right.
So instead of just being straightforward and being like, you know what, I don't know if I'm ready to be in a relationship right now, or I'm this reminds me of one of my girlfriends in college had been with this guy for a long time, and then he was going to do study abroad. And he then kind of pulled this thing where he's like, I just feel like I'm not what you need right now. And they'd been doing great. But he's like, he wants to go study abroad and have fun. And instead of being honest and being like, hey, we're still young, I kind of want to go and explore, and because that would
not that serious, bitch.
Yeah, what he means to say is, I'm not what you need right now because I'm a guy who wants to go sleep with a bunch of other people.
Yeah,
that's just not the whole comment.
Instead of having the really uncomfortable conversation that's not going to be fun about like either, hey, do you want to be open? Do I want to break up? And these are the reasons why, or like, you know.
I just feel like if you're broken up and they're giving you a reason, it doesn't really matter what the reason is. Like you broke up, what they're saying, you broke up for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How about this? If you're going to tell someone that you're not what they need, don't do that. Just like, don't blame it on the other person if you want to get out, you know? Have your own reasons and just say, this isn't working for me.
Or I think like even a better way of saying that same thing would be like what you said, I want to be a good partner to you. I'm not in that space.
Yeah.
And I don't want to be a shitty partner to you. So I'm not doing this.
Yeah, because
like,
that's so
like
true. It's honest.
Being culpable, though, to your own shit.
Right.
Don't blame it on them.
Right. This is your needs. And it's too much for me.
You're not saying, you're not doing pulling the whole like, you're a lot. Like no one can be a good enough partner to you. So you know, that's your own thing. But when I feel like I can't be a good partner to you and I want to be, and that's my own issue, I feel like you're owning up to it. And then you're not having to do the digging where you're like getting real personal about maybe what specifically is the reason why you don't want to be in the relationship.
And the way that
anymore.
he framed it up, right? Now she's past it. They've broken up and she's still sitting there wondering like, what did I do wrong? Like, and he created that for her by trying to blame it on her, not just being.
I know now she's asking a podcast what it means.
Hey babe, you're fine. It wasn't your fault.
No.
He's just not owning up to his own shit.
He's a loser. Next.
Okay. Do you want to get another question or do you want to read the email?
Tell me the email.
Okay. All right.
I
want the
halfway
tension to
there.
build. Let's do one more. Let's do one more question.
Okay.
We have audio questions?
We do have some audio questions. Now here,
I will. Is this the love of my life in the emails right now?
Now I feel like I've built it up, but I happened to see it right before we started and it gave me a heartwarming little like smirk. I was like, oh, I like this.
Okay.
Especially too, because the fact of the matter is we don't typically get an email from a gentleman. That's not normally what we receive. Okay. So, you know.
Like you're the
gentleman. Sounds like a nice guy.
alive.
He looks like a gentleman in his little photo. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, and his little email
his little
photo?
Gmail circle?
Yes.
I was like, did he send photos of himself? Okay, no.
Okay, broads, interrupting best first date. Erik, for one moment here, listen, your shoes can say so much about you. Or on the flip side, you can really tell a lot about a person, who they are, maybe a little bit about their personality, certainly about their style, all by just looking at what's on their feet. Make sure your shoes are saying all the right things about you. The best way to make sure of that is by wearing Rothy's. Rothy's is the sustainable footwear brand that is creating seamless knit footwear in classic but super stylish designs. It's footwear done totally different.
Okay, nobody's doing it like Rothy's. No other companies. Their knit designs, that's what makes Rothy's incredibly comfortable. Like some of the most comfortable pairs of shoes I've ever owned. They mold to your feet. And not only that, they are also machine washable. If you have kids, you know, that is a big game changer because you can just throw them in the wash and pull them out. They look brand new. I mean, why am I saying if you have kids? If you're me and your shoes look disgusting after 2 weeks of wearing them, throw them in the wash. Get Rothy's. They come out like looking like a new pair of shoes every single time.
So I have 2 pairs of Rothy's and Ember has 2 pairs of Rothy's, and they have lasted so much longer than every other everyday shoe because of the fact that we can wash them. It's so incredible. And also the thread on Rothy's is made from recycled marine plastic and water bottles that would otherwise end up in landfills. I mean, broads, if you're wearing Rothy's, your shoes are saying a lot, okay? But it's all the right things that your shoes are saying. We love Rothy's.
Get both style and comfort this summer with Rothy's. Plus, get $20 off your first purchase at rothys.com/chatty. That's spelled ROTHYS.com/chatty.
So you can count on your pets for a lot of things. For example, I can always count on my dog Ashley to attach herself to Evan or myself if we're having an off day. So sweet. Pets can just sense it. I'm telling you, she knows if we're feeling down, and nothing in the entire world can turn a bad day good more quickly than a snuggle from a pet. And just like you can count on them, you need to have products for your pets that you can always count on too. If you have a cat, you have to try Pretty Litter. It's the best, most dependable cat litter available.
Yeah, most cat litters, they're just not good. Plain and simple. One of our cats had to be quarantined. Muffins had to be quarantined in our bathroom for like 3 weeks after her surgery. And the smell of that bathroom when we had to use my mother-in-law's litter because we were out of Pretty Litter. It was disgusting for the first 2 weeks. And then I was like, okay, I got to reorder Pretty Litter. Got that in the mail. Oh my gosh, it was a game changer. Instantly, when we switched back over to Pretty Litter, I could not smell anything at all. And also, even if we hadn't scooped it out like right away, it could be like a couple days and I wouldn't even realize that we hadn't scooped it out yet. Also, the formula is virtually dust-free, so it doesn't make everything like your cat's not going to track litter all over the place.
Yeah, those ultra-absorbent crystals are incredible. The dust-free formula, amazing. And also, the best part about Pretty Litter, it's looking out for the health of your cat all the time and will let you know when something might be up. That's right, Pretty Litter's crystals are actually designed to change color when they detect early signs of potential illness, so you can take the necessary steps and keep your furry friends healthy.
Once you try Pretty Litter, it's going to be the only litter you ever use. Learn from my mistakes. Always keep Pretty Litter stocked up, baby. Go to prettylitter.com/chatty to save 20% on your first order. That's prettylitter.com/chatty to save 20% on your first order. prettylitter.com/chatty.
This recording says that all names have been changed for anonymity. I love this. I'll play the recording.
I'm excited. Multimedia.
Hi, Broads. So today I'm reaching out with a relationship/friendship question. So back in high school, I was really good friends with this girl named Jen. I'm 26 now, so she and I haven't been close for several years. But back in high school, she dated this guy named Sam. They were, pretty serious for the age that we were at. They dated for a couple years. And then, unfortunately, she ended up cheating on him. And I later found out that she blamed the cheating on him for not being attentive enough. And then she refused to accept that the relationship had ended. And according to mutual friends who lived with Sam at the time, she also started to repeatedly show up at his apartment demanding to speak to him. She showed up at his place of work. She followed him in the car at least once. It got really bad, like all stuff that if a guy was doing it, I think people wouldn't hesitate to call it stalking. Sure. Yeah. And I'm not even going to get into the stuff that she would say to Sam too. So around that same time in early college, I had been coming to some realizations about my friendship with her. And it was, around then, that was also one of the last times that I saw her. You can probably guess where this is going.
No.
I moved away for a few years, then I was back in town for a wedding for a friend.
She's got to be stalking her.
Who's a mutual friend with Sam.
And he's dating Sam.
I thought that he had come out as gay, not bi, so maybe that's why I could be myself around him so easily. But we spent a lot of time together last summer, and he ended up confessing feelings to me the night before that friend's wedding. So we've been dating for almost a year now. And it's been amazing. I've never been with somebody that's so communicative and supporting and just fucking weird in all the most wonderful ways. So it's been great. And here's where I need some advice. I just don't know how to react when high school friends bring up how Sam and Jen used to date and how Jen and I used to be close friends. If they don't already know, some of the history there.
I thought this was going to get really juicy.
That was like a setup for a scary movie.
I feel uncomfortable thinking that people might see me as a
I feel some relief,
and a
to be
boyfriend
honest.
stealer, even though at least 5 or 6 years passed between when they broke up and when Sam and I started dating. And even though, they ended on such terrible terms, I've been having recurring anxiety nightmares about Jen, and I've talked to Sam about the extent of my anxiety a little bit, and he's been great about it. but I don't want to put him in a position where he feels forced to talk about his experiences with her just for something as silly as my reputation.
Wait.
Like, his experiences with stalking and mistreatment are his story to tell. So I'm trying to figure out how to hold, my own needs and anxieties in this and not put him in a situation where he's strong-armed into telling his story.
Wait, what's her anxiety?
Thank you, guys.
Why does she want to hear the story?
Because she's like, the friends, people around her are constantly like bringing up the fact like, well, you and Jen were really good friends, and like referring to her as like this kind of backstabbing friend to start dating someone.
Her friend? Wait, that's what she said?
Yeah.
What's her
Ew.
name?
Mystery.
Okay, mystery.
Jane.
We'll go with
Jane
Jane.
Doe.
We'll go-
Jen.
Jane.
Sam.
Okay. Listen.
First of all, that's weird of the friends.
Yeah,
Why are you bringing up his high school relationship?
It's like,
This isn't high school anymore, guys.
Guys, we're 26.
Well, that's the last time her and Jen were really close.
right.
Or even really hung out.
And that was, she said, 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe, wait, I want to hear what your guys' opinion is. What is your guys' philosophy on that? On like dating? Because I'll wait 6 months.
You're like,
You wait 6 months to what?
They could have
Just
got
slide into
divorced
his
6 months ago. And I'm like, all right, that's fair game. He's
Oh,
on the
wow.
market. No, I'm just kidding.
her best friend gets divorced. And she's just like, well,
No, but I'm like,
he's cute.
I mean, I don't know. This is my philosophy on it. Like, if I meet someone and they're the love of my life, I was half joking, but seriously, like if they dated someone, like it does have to be a period of time, like at least a year or so. I mean, I'm not gonna miss my shot at true love with them because they dated my friend. Chances are me and my friend have similar tastes.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know. I'm not gonna like shut myself down to an opportunity with someone because I don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. Am I gonna try to steal someone's man? No. Am I gonna like do it the day after they break up and like poach their ex-boyfriend? No. But like, I don't know. I feel like that's kind of, I feel like people take that like that it was, I don't know. I feel like they take it too far. What's your guys' philosophy?
I agree. I feel like it's always really extreme. The like, if your friend dates or was with this person, they're always off limits. I'm like 6 years later, like granted, okay, if you have a friend who was married to this person for 10 years and then they get divorced and then like 2 or 3 years later, he's hitting you up. I'm like, that level of relationship is,
Sure.
this is a different context. And then maybe if this person is like the love of your life, that's a conversation you need to have with your friend and kind
Sure.
of gauge, because how are you going to feel, But to me, I'm like, if you're dating somebody and you're young, you're in high school, college, and now you guys are like 26. It's
and you're
like,
not even homies anymore.
no. But that's, I think, what they were saying is, or she was saying that the people don't know really why her and Jen aren't friends anymore, because a big part of that is what Jen was doing to Sam.
Oh, and that's what she's saying. It's his story to tell.
Yeah.
So she doesn't want to be to her friends saying
Be
like,
like, she was
listen,
being
she was a
fucked up.
stalker. She was following
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
She's pretty respectful all
Very
around.
respectful.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
respectful.
Jane.
The fact that you're thinking about Sam's feelings in that way is a testament to what a good person you are. I don't know. I'm like, I don't feel like there's any easy.
Well, I think just talk to him and just be like, yo, like people always bring this up. Like, do you care if I just say in loose terms, like
That
she
seems
was,
so mellow and direct.
yeah, just like, do you care if I say like she kind of was fucked up to him and like that's part of the reason why we stopped being friends? Like, is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Wow, so simple sounding.
And then he's either
So
says yes
casual.
or no.
Like
Let's
that approach though, your attitude, like that's great. It's way better than like, Sam, we have to talk. These girls are hitting me up and I don't know if
Right.
But that just feels real mellow.
It's relaxed.
I like that.
Yeah. It's like, hey. And then, okay, what do you say though? Let's just say she brings it up like that, super low key.
And
And
he's
then
like,
he
"I
says,
don't wanna go
I'm
there."
not comfortable with it. What then how should she move forward?
She should move forward by telling her friends, look, that was some high school
Exactly.
shit. Like
That was then, this is
we're not
now.
really dealing with that. Me and this dude having the best
We're
time.
living in the future,
Yeah.
guys. Quit
We're
living in the
now.
past.
We're living in the now.
We're in the present.
The power of now.
Listen, we've all survived a pandemic. We can do whatever the fuck we want
Yes,
afterwards.
yes,
Okay, I'm going
yes.
to date whoever I want after this, the
Yes.
goddamn past few years.
Yes.
Like, let me live.
Yeah.
High school, college, it's like, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I would say that. I would just be like, oh, dude, I would just be like, why do you guys care?
The girl he dated in high school?
Who?
What? Yeah, we're moving on.
and then what if they say, well, I thought that was your friend.
She's married now. She just said the girl already got married. The girl got married a year ago. She's married. She doesn't care.
We were friends. Yeah, we don't really talk anymore.
Yeah.
Been
Things
years.
just, there was conflict, didn't work.
Yeah.
Don't even have to give them that, because then the friend's gonna be like, "What was the conflict?"
That's
Tell me more.
That's true. That's true.
That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly. We kind of went our separate ways.
Yeah, just shrug it off.
This is a moment where, because she was saying, you know, she's having all of this anxiety about it.
Oh yeah, that part
which-
sucks. How do we fix this anxiety? What do we say?
I mean, for me, I don't feel like there's an easy answer to this. I can relate to that. I feel like I would feel similar in that way with my like kind of people pleasing tendencies, where I'm like, oh my God, all these people are saying these things about me, and people who are my friends are thinking that I'm like being this shit friend, and I feel like I can't say anything. I'd say this is a time where you have to like really, it sounds so corny, but like step into your power and know you're the type of person who is so concerned about Sam and his traumatic experience that you are not willing to break that trust. That's who you are. You're a good fucking person.
Yeah.
And you need to know that about yourself. And you can't let what other people's opinions are. And by the way, this will pass. They're not sitting there talking about this. It's not going to be years that this is going to continue. It's going to be a blip. It's uncomfortable for a little bit. You go through it. You know who you are.
I think also, depending on the relationship with the friends, you could also just be serious and be like, hey guys, it's kind of a sensitive topic. I don't really want to talk about it. Could you stop bringing her up?
You know, your casual attitude is what I was really enjoying, but I'm recognizing that she does not have this casual attitude. She has nightmares.
Yeah.
She has anxiety. She can't sleep, and I've got a crazy idea. And maybe you guys tell me if this is bad advice or not. It's time to call Jen and just say, hey, Sam and I are dating.
He's in the corner.
And she just clear your conscience, you know, get Jen, who is now moved on and married, to be like, oh yeah, it's all good.
No, except Jen's probably a crazy bitch who's
Lunatic.
gonna be.
And Sam is
Jen's
probably gonna
be
get-
like.
I wasn't
Are
saying
you
do it.
s-
I'm saying
But
should.
Jen
I'm just,
is probably
you know.
going to be like, seriously? Like, honestly, it is fucked up. You were
Yeah.
never there for me. You never supported me.
you're probably
I
right.
can't
You've opened
imagine
that.
Sam
Jen
wants her
Pandora's
to
back.
get in contact
Oh yeah,
with Jen
unearth
either.
all his
Wait.
trauma.
It also sounds like she hasn't talked to Sam about this, though.
She said that she did. She
she
said
did.
she mentioned it to him, but maybe like not super intensely. But she told him that she was feeling anxiety about everything. So
Okay,
he knows.
I'm back to casual approach. I just was throwing it out there. We're just spitballing here.
I think that you could be serious casual. Like, I think you could say to the friends, that's really sensitive. It brings up a lot of anxiety when you bring her up. There's just stuff I don't want to talk about. Could you not?
Yeah, can you just not bring up that old shit?
That
from
part
high
of my
school?
life?
Yeah.
You could just say it like that, and then they're going to be like, oh.
Damn, part of her life.
And that's the
Exactly.
thing, though. They're like,
Jane's
I'm
really
sorry, but like to me, the realistic like element to this, which isn't fun, but the type of people who are talking shit like this, if you are vulnerable and say what you're doing is giving me anxiety, I don't know if I'd want to give them that power for
But
them
are these
to
her
know.
friends? Who are these people?
It sounds like it's like their old mutual friends.
Well, then why is she in contact with them? I'm
I'm
confused by
getting
this.
kind of small town energy a
Okay.
little bit. Maybe I'm off, but
Yeah.
like the whole wedding and everyone sees and then they reconnect and now everyone's talking about it.
Also, okay.
I love the drunk night before the wedding confession. Like, I have feelings for you.
I love you so much.
I love it.
It's the best. We love the
and
wedding
now they're dating
romance.
a year later.
I also have this
Mwah.
feeling like Sam might have a low key feeling about all this. So that's the other thing. I do think clarify like how he feels about the story, because he might be like, dude, I know it sucked. Whatever. Tell him. I don't care. Like, he might have that feeling about it. I don't know. But also, this also may be a thing, and I say this not to be insensitive, but it also may be a narrative you're creating in your head of like everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
That literally might not be the case unless someone's
Totally.
saying it in front of you. Like, this might be a narrative because you have all this anxiety from your past friendship with her and the context of their relationship that you know about and that they don't know about. Like, this might be a narrative you're making up. To a certain degree.
As a radically anxious baby, I would say that that's likely the case, because
Yeah.
I feel like I do that with myself all
Right.
the time, where I'm fully, it's this whole narrative, and maybe one or two things have kind of emerged, but like I make it 10 times bigger. That's why there's this part of me that I'm like, oh, I wouldn't even say anything to them, because that gives them power that maybe they're not even tapped into. And then you kind of, I know I've presented myself sometimes like vulnerably to certain people who honestly didn't deserve it, versus just being like, listen, deep breaths, work on your meditation, know who you are. This will pass.
Yeah.
I think, talk to Sam, like you were saying, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Anxiety is conspiracy theories about yourself.
Oh, I've never heard that. I like that.
I heard
Getting
and
that
I was
tattooed.
Like, damn, that's
so good.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's really
We're going to
good.
be bringing
Don't
that
give in-
one up for the
Don't-
next
Remember when
Don't
Erik
get into the
said-
conspiracy theories, man.
Yeah.
It's not real.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers.
You got this, Jane.
Yeah, Jane, you got this. You're a good person.
Also, it's about Sam, your relationship with Sam.
Yeah.
Life's good. You're in love.
Here,
Wow.
this one's for you.
Things are getting crazy.
Well, I'm just handing these out, you know.
I love it.
Still on my first.
Just the Jesus Christ of beers. God bless you.
Yeah.
If we do a live show, do you want to come out and like hand out beers to people?
Yeah, I'll be the beer tender.
You said that people have come up to you in person like a number of times, being like chatty broads.
At the funniest places too, like Psycho Las Vegas, which is this metal festival in Vegas
Yes.
of just like gnarly people. I'm literally in the pit in the water. Like there's this one water beach stage thing, and I'm thrashing around in the water, and this girl who is also soaking wet and thrashing around
Yeah.
is like, "Hey, you were on Chatty Broads." I love that. I was just like, "Wow, here."
That's
Shocking.
awesome.
I love
Yeah.
that.
Shout out to our broads.
Love the bras.
Love them.
Email time?
Give it to me.
All right. So, speaking of just, heartwarming, this gentleman came in, and I don't know if you remember this. We talked about this briefly on an episode, but he starts it by saying, in your kissing technique episode, which we talked for like 20 minutes on one episode a long time ago about.
Don't remember that.
About kissing.
Which, by the way, I have something to say on the Bachelor episode. Oh, wait, no, I will have already said it on Thursday's episode. Never mind. This is me from the future saying that in the past.
Like
I
Terminator.
will be talking about this with the Bachelor episode because I have thoughts on Tino,
Okay.
who I always almost call Tyler C. But it's just slow down. Just everyone slow the fuck down.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's
Slow
Okay.
down about kissing.
Yes.
Hold on, but
Men are always just like,
You're
men
so
are always.
passionate.
No, hold on, because let's get into this. Hold on, okay. So he said you all talked about having an episode where you watch kisses and evaluate them.
Ooh, we should do that.
Please do that. Best idea ever. My suggestion, by the way, is that we talk right
That
now
also sounds-
about your impassioned feelings about
I
kissing.
will. That also sounds nauseating.
Yeah, watching the kissing, I don't know if I can do. But he did a little side note, and he said, Becca, your kissing with Ari was the best I've ever seen.
Yes, it was.
And you looked way better than
Was
him.
it not?
And he said you looked way better than
I have
him,
a
and he's
gif
the
on
kissing
my
bandit.
I have a gif on my phone of us kissing that I made from the show.
Show the class.
It's
Yeah.
hot.
So shout out to this king for letting you know that you have amazing technique.
this is in the hot tub. This is actually a crazy clip. This is actually like too sexual for YouTube. Look at this like oh wait, that's just a little clip. Never mind. But that's like a crazy Bachelor clip of him like smiling while he's embracing
no,
me. And
you both are very
he was an
clearly
amazing kisser. Best kisser ever.
Well, that's so okay. So just so you know, Eric, on the show, his
Okay.
whole-
was.
his
Okay.
reputation. His
Okay.
reputation was for being like the best kisser. Everyone's always talked about it in the.
A girl on The Bachelor wrote a tell-all and was like, best sex of my life was with Ari Lyondike.
So he has quite the reputation.
We don't know how
Yeah.
many people that she had sex with though. That could just be like.
Have you
one
watched
out
the
of
show
three
for a long
people.
time? You know Courtney Robinson, the I Got the Rose girl? She was
like
she
villain.
won Ben Flanick's season or whatever. She was a model and she kept being like, I'm a
was so
model.
hot.
All the girls
Is so
hated her
hot.
and she won. She slept with Ari and she was like, that was the best sex of my life.
You talk about it like guys talk about sports, like it's like stats, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, well, Courtney Robinson in
used
her
to play
book,
for
in
the
her tell-all.
Raptors,
Yeah,
now
she was on
he's
Ben
a-
Flanick's season.
Yeah.
Give a rose, shout
In the
out.
off season, that's when they hooked up, and she said,
Yes. Well, point is
I've talked
that
to other couple people he's had sex with. They all said,
you didn't make it that far?
I did not.
she didn't
Wait, are you allowed to have sex on The Bachelor?
Top 3, they all go to fantasy suites.
This is wild. That's like the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and they go to the fantasy suites, and that's
And then the finals is there's like a beach scene where
the
there's
top
an ultimate
two.
decision.
Yeah, they break out. He breaks
The
up with
best
one.
the best Bachelor podcast of all time is called Game of Roses.
We're the best Bachelor podcast of all time?
Well, we like to
Sorry?
have fun. This is the sports.
Okay,
You're like,
okay.
excuse me. Game of
Know your
Roses. Know your worth, queen. Game of Roses breaks it down, and they said this is a professional sport.
Yeah, they're like, one day we will
Oh,
cover
fun.
this like sports.
NFL.
Like there
So
will
they
be
cover
a
it like
channel.
NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
where they have
fantastic.
like,
I could get into that.
yeah, they're like, this is the person's rose quota, like the amount of roses to the dates they've gone on that they received. They like break down all,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's fantastic.
Percentages.
Fantastic. But
Fun
point
stuff.
is,
Okay, this email.
point is, Ari has been recognized as the kissing king in Bachelor Nation, and this bro king has now come into our email and recognized that you, in fact, are the kissing queen of Bachelor Nation, because if your kissing looks better than Ari's, I feel like,
Well, that's just posturing, right? That's just knowing your angles on the camera, honey.
But can you please go off about what you were going to say about kissing?
I think that men, maybe this is just my personal thing, but like men are always like, I love a guy who can just I don't know, it's hard because you don't want to just like be a dead fish and let someone else take the lead. But I feel like when a man can like
Love being a dead fish.
be intuitive and like do a little like, I don't know, like so many men, and I watched this on The Bachelor on Monday night, where too many of the guys were like, they're kissing and then they're like suddenly like on her and like on top of her. And it's like, dude, let her take the lead. Like slow the fuck down.
This goes back to my episode last time where I let you take the lead and then you said I was bad in bed because I was a non-participant. But you were like, yo,
I didn't
chill.
say you were a non-participant.
Something like this.
I did not
you said
say
it
that.
wasn't great because you told me to stand down while you took the lead.
But this actually comes down to what he was saying too. As especially a younger person, and I think as women, we have the tendency to be very performative, right? Of like, I am going to show this person everything I can do. And I think that, I don't know, I mean, I think still letting someone take the lead is better than being the person that's just like kissing too hard, doing too much tongue, going in too fast. Like, let the moment simmer. Let it have that like brush of the lips, have that small slip of the tongue, and let things just marinate. You don't got to take it to the next level immediately, you know? That's my feelings
It's
on
like
it.
the same with dating advice too. When you meet someone, you know, like don't get all freaked out. Just relax, man.
Let it play
loose.
out. See what happens next organically.
Yes, be loose, because there's nothing worse. The same thing, correlating with dating and kissing. There's nothing worse than when someone has like tight tension in their lips trying to kiss, and there's the hard lip. Same thing with like when like you said, the posturing of like really intense and all the tension.
Or same with like over communicating. Like, hey, do you want to hang out tomorrow? Do you want to hang out the next day? Do you want to in the morning? You want to get breakfast? It's like, just calm down, dude.
Just chill.
I think you can't be married to the outcome either. Similar to dating. You can't be set on like, I'm going to make this person my girlfriend or boyfriend. This is going to end in sex, whatever. You have to just like see what flows. And I don't know. I feel like that's
the time to let the confidence surge, to be like, wow, I am a catch and a half, and I'm going to blow my own mind right now, and just kind of relax in that.
Yeah.
Here's my issue.
What do you mean
though.
blowing your own mind?
I love the idea of like blowing my own mind when I'm making out, like, wow, you are crushing this right now.
But that I feel like has to do with the performative thing.
I know, but I'm performing for myself.
Okay.
That is so
Just
funny.
for myself.
That
I'm
is
like,
so
don't care if he
funny.
enjoys it, because I am performing for me and I am giving myself the Oscar nomination.
To me, like the best sex and makeouts and all that stems from like losing yourself and being
Yes, being in the
completely.
moment.
You're not self-aware.
I'm not thinking, it's like being in the flow with sports, right? Like if you're doing something and your like mind shuts off. Meditation, right?
Yes.
Where was I?
Yeah.
Yes. I
Which has
think
happened.
that's
Yeah.
why one of the Bachelors named Matt James, he always had his eyes open when he was kissing, and people were always like, stop. I think it's because he was thinking too much. I feel like people who keep their eyes open when they're kissing, you're like, what are you thinking about right now? Just meditate, relax.
I'm kind of an eyes open dude.
Are you?
But like, I'm not aware of it. Like, if you were to be
But
like, hey,
you're-
why are your eyes
okay.
open? I'd be like, my eyes were open?
There's
Are
also
they like
two
wide?
different eyes open thing. Are you like making out like this, or are you, like flat? Like, you know,
'Cause I
like
like
there's
to
a
look
very
at, like-
casual way to be like opening your eyes without being like staring into someone's soul.
Yeah, because I like to open a tiny bit every once in a while
Yeah.
to see what's happening.
Sure.
Look down at my nose.
Get your bearings, find the horizon.
To be like, wow, look at that contour, bitch. Like right down the nose.
I look great.
You sound way too self-aware to be really making out properly. You got to check out.
Oh no, I do when I'm but I just
that
like to feel
contour.
so good about myself when I'm doing
funny.
it. Now here's my thing. What I would like.
Do you guys like a mirror? Because that also takes me out of the moment where I'm like, then I'm like looking to see
I don't
if
like
I
a
look
mirror.
good.
Yeah, no, I don't like a mirror.
Because then I'm like, I do look good, but then I'm just focused on that.
If
I'm not
there's
really
a
in the
mirror, I'm
moment.
looking at my partner. I'm not staring at
That's
myself.
a male thing. I know, but
Yeah,
that's a girl
I know.
thing where we're like, I should arch my back more. It's just like,
Right.
that's the
And we're there
unfortunate
going
world we
like,
live
nice
in.
arch of the back.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh man, two different worlds. Wait, what? So that guy was just saying that I looked like a hotter kisser.
Yeah. He just
Just
wanted
big
to
ups, no
recognize.
question?
I'm just saying, I don't think we've ever received an email from a guy before. And this first email is about what an amazing kisser you are.
Well, the kissing with Ari was hot. Said it before, I'll say it again.
You should kiss a fan for the show.
Okay, well, this is what my thought is. What
We'll do
I
a
don't
kissing booth
This is
for
what
charity.
this is what I don't know.
Oh my God, that would be fun.
Why this hasn't happened.
COVID.
I need to know.
Monkeypox?
I need to know how good of a kisser I am. Unless someone looks at you and says you're a bad fucking kisser, you don't
know.
really know. So
Unless
I
someone
think
says you're a good kisser.
but I'm saying even if you hear that, people sometimes just say that because they're supposed to say that.
I feel like if you've heard it from more than one person, that's a good sign.
Well, what I want is at like Dave and Buster's, like the adult Chuck E. Cheese, to have like a mechanical thing that you make out with and
And then it
rates your
rates you?
kissing.
I think
And
it's
then you
more
get as
like...
many tickets as you want.
It's about chemistry, though.
Yeah, I think it's about the Pepsi Cola challenge, the blind taste test. I think the only way is to get a panel of judges and then just like a hole in the wall. And
A
then
glory hole for kissing.
Yeah,
They
glory
do
hole.
that like on, so one of, this is why I love Love Island so much. Typically every season when there's
Still
like
have never watched that show.
10 contests, like 10.
Do you watch it, Allie? She's like, yes.
And they go and they do a blindfold and that like the girl goes and kisses every guy and then they rate it blindfolded.
Are they doing
I
auditions?
love that. You're
like, and then how much I want to go on the show though,
No, I
just
do
for
too.
that. I'm like, I
do
want
too.
a blindfold
But
and I want to
also,
get rated.
That
I
has
would
so
like
much
this.
to do though with like pheromones too, because
Sure,
there
sure,
are
sure,
people where you're just like, I am there. This is what I think. I think there are men that universally, I had an ex-boyfriend like this. It was like every girl that he hooked up with was like, oh, he knows what he's doing. Like some men just have like an intuition about like women's bodies and like all that kind of thing. And then some men, and then some partners, it's chemistry. Like there's some people where you feel it with them and someone else might not feel it with them, but it's like your mix of pheromones and whatever is just
you've
like
kissed
there.
a bad kisser before, correct?
Definitely.
Okay, there's definitely people who are bad kissers.
I was just telling my friend about this. The first guy I ever made out with, he invited me over to his parents' house and we watched The Beach. What a horrible movie to watch on a first date.
What? It's the best movie ever.
I was like 15, coming from a conservative Christian home. I was like, this is really fucking scary. People are like dying and it's just really crazy. It was just not
that's
romantic.
So crazy that that's what you think of. Like, I think of the movie and I'm like, yeah, that's so cool, man.
I think I would probably like it now,
Okay.
but at the time
Yeah,
as
but
a
at
15-year-old
15,
being like, I want to go over to a guy's house and watch The Notebook. Like that's, like I'm trying to have like
It's
a
so much
romantic
pressure,
vibe
though.
here. Like I've never made out with a guy. Like I want this to be a vibe.
Okay.
And then we kissed and it was just so disgusting. Like it was so disgusting. His tongue was just like in my mouth. Like
Furry, stop.
and
My first kiss, her tongue tasted like a 9-volt battery. I've never had that since, but I was just like, whoa, what's going on
it's
there?
like pH
Did she have braces?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Oh, that's a
sorry.
different kind of chemistry
Sorry to
happening.
interrupt.
No, and I was just traumatized. And afterwards,
Was
I was
it
just
the
like
vibes that were bad, or it was his technique and the vibes and
everything.
just
But
overall?
definitely the technique. It was like I've never kissed a worse kisser for sure. And we were 15. I don't hold it against him. But I literally didn't tell any of my friends. And in my head, I was just like, wow, people like kissing, and I must just not like kissing. Like I didn't like that.
You will someday.
You'll like it one day.
And then I went to public school, and then everything worked out.
Oh yeah.
The hottest guy I ever hooked up with in my life was by far the worst kisser ever.
Oh, because he had no personality. He was just like, I'm a hunk.
Yeah,
no
zero
time developing.
personality.
But some hot
There was
guys with
no
personality, they get, I don't know.
No, it can happen, but there was nothing.
He was giving you nothing.
Judge. Like you were saying, it's all about the vibe. I joke about thinking about how gorgeous and perfect I want to feel when I'm making out. I'm like, it's all vibe, it's all energy, right?
Yeah.
He had just there was nothing there, but he also was just the technique was stiff lip and just so much tongue, but it was like darty tongue where it was so quick, and I was like, what is happening?
Better no tongue than tongue. Can I just say that? Like tongue is great, but better to err on the side of not enough. than too much. Better to
Yeah.
be conservative.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yes.
I mean, sometimes it's a good
Because I've
feel.
never walked away and been like, man, I wish she just would have used more tongue. You're just like, whatever, it's cool. Like, lips were rocking,
yeah.
it's chilling. But
No.
sometimes you're like, Jesus
God.
Christ.
You're like,
I'm getting like
soaked.
nauseous.
Yeah.
I'm getting nauseous. This
Just
is
like
disgusting.
getting served sashimi for
I
no
know.
reason. It's like, oh.
No, it's so true though. Always err on less.
I had a guy in high school.
I think it's universal advice. As subjective as the kissing experience can be, I think that's good advice.
Yes. I
Yeah.
feel you know what? I blame the media. They've forced us into too much tongue.
Keep them wanting more.
Yeah.
Right?
Which media?
Keep them wanting more.
Pornhub?
Yeah, I mean,
The
I got
only
a lot to
media
say
I
about that. Oh my God. Yeah, that is just so
But
disgusting.
there's always in romance movies, I feel like as soon as the kiss starts, you always see the tongue go in. And it's like, well, if it's a technique, a technique
same
tongue,
things
then
with
sure.
movies where they're like making out and all of a sudden they're getting like pushed up against the walls and like ripping their
Ow.
clothes off. Like, where it's like, okay, that's like, that happens every now and then. But what about just like normal? What about just when you're naturally just.
Yeah.
I remember seeing like Jerry Maguire, I think it was, as a kid, and he's like banging her against a wall. And as a kid, just being like, when am I ever going to be able to lift a woman like that? Yeah. Are they not damaging the drywall? What is this house made out
What's
of?
going on?
And just like
These are
almost
concrete
fearing
walls.
my future of just like, I don't know how I'm going to get into this shit, you know?
I always felt so self-conscious, like growing up until recently, honestly, about how I hate kissing, like in a shower or rain or
Ooh,
a
I
pool.
like it.
I hate it, and I hate
Messes up the contour.
it messes up the contour. There you go. I hate like wet sex. I hate it, and I was always like
Gray and
trying
I
to
always talk about like, when are we gonna get like a baby pool and just do oil and just be like so nasty and like slippery?
Oil's fine. I'm talking water.
I like water.
I hate
Not a hot
water.
tub. Who has sex? Do you guys have sex in hot tubs? What the fuck is that?
This is what I'm talking about. It's water.
Also, how are you penetrating somebody in water?
Because water is like not a lubricant.
This is
No.
this is
No.
my this is
Thank
what
you.
I'm this is what I'm saying.
Thank you.
I'm
Yes.
like, no, I don't like it, but it was always all the fucking scenes were always like they're soaking
Right.
wet. Okay, broads, one more quick pause. So if you work in healthcare in any aspect from admin to nursing to veterinary work, I mean, literally there are hundreds of different jobs that fall into the healthcare category. You know who you are. Your job is hard enough, and you deserve to have a uniform that makes things just a little bit easier on you, okay? Traditional scrubs are not it. They're uncomfortable, boxy. Finally, Figs has decided to put a modern spin on an old classic and bring you a new, fresh version of scrubs.
When you wear Figs, you can really have it all. Figs. Oh my gosh, I've actually gifted a couple of my nurse friends a set of Figs. They have design, functionality, comfort. They've got so many options. If you don't know where to start, you should just go for their super popular core scrubs. They never go out of style. They can be mixed and matched to make a lot of different fun color combinations. You can also customize your scrub sets with text and icon embroidery, which I think is so freaking cute.
Figs are made with their custom 4-way stretch fabric, which makes them super soft, which is important when you're in them for these long 12-hour shifts. Plus, each pair is moisture wicking, anti-wrinkle, and anti-odor. Literally, all of my doctors, my daughter's doctors, my dog's vet offices, so many places we go have their offices outfitted in Figs now, and there's a good reason for it. They're so much better than traditional scrubs, so get yours today.
Figs believes the awesome humans in healthcare deserve awesome scrubs to match. So head to wearfigs.com, use code ChattyBroads. You're going to get 15% off your first orders. That's WEARFIGS, promo code ChattyBroads. Wearfigs.com, code ChattyBroads.
So broads, you know that I love some CBD, but I cannot lie to you. Sometimes your girl needs a little bit more, okay? The CBD, not cutting it at certain moments, okay? It's not enough. So during those times, what is a girl to do? Well, I have recently discovered Delta Munchies, which actually contain a totally unique cannabinoid, HHC, and so far, I am truly loving it.
I mean, look, sometimes CBD is way too mellow, and sometimes THC, on the other hand, is extremely anxiety-inducing as well. But with HHC, it's pretty incredible. Users report having a cerebral and relaxing body experience compared to traditional cannabis. It really does have a different vibe to it. Delta Munchies, it has like almost it has a euphoric like quality. So it's really nice for relaxing. It's also federally legal in all 50 states. So you can order online. You can get it delivered to your door. How crazy is that?
All of Delta Munchies products are derived from 100% American-made hemp and are rigorously lab-tested using third-party full-panel DEA-certified lab tests to ensure they deliver the cleanest, safest, and most potent products possible. They specialize in delicious gummies, 2-gram vapes, tinctures, and so many other awesome products. I've been personally loving the gummies, especially after a super stressful day when I just need to wind down. Okay, I'm popping part of one, and that cerebral and body euphoric relaxation hits, and it does the trick for me.
Delta Munchies revolutionizes the way you find relief, and it ships straight to your door for free. So you can skip the line at the dispensary. You can shop online in any state at deltamunchies.com and use code chatty20 for 20% off your order today. That's deltamunchies.com and use code chatty20 for 20% off your order. So you don't like shower sex?
I like shower sex
dangerous.
when it is not on, when I am not getting soaked by the water. I'm like, sure, let's be in the shower together naked having sex. I don't like
that feeling when you're
wet
just
kissing. I like to feel the person's skin and not just water. Maybe it's because my contacts. I'm like, I don't like it in my eyes. I can't see anything. But then in water sex, the lubricant is not there.
Right.
I recently had sex in a pool, and it was so. I was
or
like,
the ocean, when you see people having sex in the. Like, there was a scene of The Bachelor where they were, like, having sex off a boat or something. I'm like, what?
I don't like it.
First of all, vaginal pH.
Yeah.
No. Infections.
The chlorine, too.
There's
in the pool.
sand just in the water, too. Now all of a sudden he's got a churro instead of a...
Oh, God. Enough of it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm not into that. Do you guys ever have the thing, though, where you're having sex and you are making out and you're just using so much tongue and you're both just
love that. Yeah.
being just so disgusting?
I think
that.
you got to get
That's
there
great.
together.
Right,
you know,
yes.
There's like a journey.
You have to have the one thing before the other. It's not gonna being like all gross with your tongues isn't gonna get you there. I feel like
that's
probably
also your part. Like, you'll know when that's okay. Like, that's like a equal energy where you're like, oh, this is what we're doing right now, and then it's
you already got to be slipping and sliding around before you start doing that.
Yeah.
And there's like, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes you meet someone new, you start kissing, it's not necessarily working out perfectly, and it just takes a little bit of time, and all of a sudden you like find your rhythm, you know? Now you're dancing.
You have to trust people. You know, I think you have to trust people. I think that was actually a big thing for me when I was younger, is like, and I would be interested if I was playing the field now. I think it was hard for me to feel comfortable just like being myself with someone that I was just hooking up with. It's like, how are you supposed to be like, I can be vulnerable, not like you have to like open up your emotions, but like, how can I be vulnerable in like how I want to do things with this person?
Hard to lose yourself in the moment when you're
thinking about your dynamic and like thinking about I don't know, thinking about literally everything else. I think that's hard. I think hooking up with people can be difficult.
And sometimes it ain't. Allie and I,
It's true.
first try was
Right
just
away
like,
was amazing.
oh, money.
Do you feel like there's sparks when you kiss?
Confirmation. Yeah. Okay.
I remember like I had this thought with her. We'd wake up and start making out like right away, first thing in the morning. And it's the dumbest thought that came to my mind. And I thought about it like every morning. I was like, we basically own a money printing machine, and we wake up and we just turn this thing on. Like, this is insane that we're able to just create this happiness and incredible moment out of thin air. Just click. It was so cool. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Money printing.
I had that with a boyfriend, and we were in the most toxic relationship ever. And it was like our chemistry was just like,
that shit'll keep you around for too long.
It will keep you around for a long time, because it's just like, oh, things aren't working. Well, this part's working, and you know, it is what it is.
I was gonna say, within the flip side, have you ever like not been super into someone and then you kiss them just because why not? And then you're like, oh shit, that's like crazy chemistry.
Yeah, sometimes you just have the sexual chemistry and that's just it, you know?
Right. But that's like, that feeling of I'm not really into this person. And then you kind of just kiss and then it goes. There was a guy once where I'm like, I didn't think he was super cute and I wasn't really vibing on his personality either.
It was kind of gross and boring. I think that's a pheromone thing. Like, I think then you're like, whoa.
I all of a sudden started kissing him and I was like, oh, this is going to be a problem. Like, this is really good. I'm like, is that that's the perfect friends with benefits situation where you're like, I don't really.
Yeah. Sounds great. If you guys can agree on those terms, you got yourself an easy year.
Yeah. Didn't work out
Someone's
that way.
Someone's going to get attached, though.
Yeah.
Someone's going to fuck up and get attached.
That always happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Has that been always been your experience? It's not gonna be me.
It will not be me. Yeah.
Have you guys ever had have any of you had a friends with benefits situation that worked out perfectly?
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Anyone? Yes.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. And then how did you just started dating someone that was like, sorry, and then the person's like, cool.
Yeah, just like whatever. Yeah. Go back years later. What's up? Want to hang out? Boom. Back. Cool. I'm in a relationship. Good. Hope you're happy. Couple years later. What's up? What up? And then just remain friends the whole time, chilling.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's possible.
What are some good tips for someone wanting to get in a friends with benefits situation?
I think you have to have a certain type of personality.
Don't try to get into it.
Okay.
If it happens, it happens, you know?
You don't go looking for it.
I mean, I certainly have been,
You go to the bar and be
My
like,
advice is don't go looking for anything, you know?
Sure.
Make
That
your
was your
life-
advice last time,
Yep.
too.
Make your
Yeah.
life
Advice.
awesome. Do whatever you want to do. This other stuff starts happening, great. But like, focus on what you want to do with your goals and stuff. Be a good friend and a family member if you can. And the other stuff just should be like bonus round. Because if you focus on it, you're going to fuck it up, you know?
That's such good advice.
What about when you're in a relationship with someone? You're
Well,
like,
that
you're
just
like, don't
that
focus
happened
on
naturally,
it.
you know? I mean, no, I think once it happens and it's a part of your life, if you're not focused on it and looking for it, then that thing will build organically.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's just part of your life now. But it's just the looking for it that sets you up for disaster, you know?
Yeah.
It's like, even if I was, you know, looking for a 1969 Charger with all original parts, and I want it to be factory black with the black, you know, and I have like all these crazy specific things that I'm looking for, and then I make that my goal. Like, the next 3 years of my life are going to be hell trying to find that thing.
Some people say that, though, you know, they're like, write your list of exactly what you want in a man. And then they're like,
You'll be
and
disappointed
it came.
every step of the way in between, but then maybe you get what you want. But I don't know. I don't like that thing. I don't know.
Do you think that sometimes you don't, like, I know some people say, like, you don't know what you actually want, so you gotta, like, wait to see what the universe is gonna bring to you. Because, like,
yeah, I mean, that's with, like, even...
like, Allie might not have been, like, the girl that was, like, had all the things that was on your list, but then you're like, wait, this is actually what I needed.
I think you're allowed to want whatever
He's like,
you
no,
want.
I was way more than his list,
I was
obviously.
more than anything you could ever ask
Please.
for.
You're allowed to want whatever you want, but just be ready to pivot if other stuff happens, you know? If I want that all black 69 Charger and then I come across, you know, this other freak car, then I go, oh my God. Don't be like, well, that's not what I wanted before. If you want the
open.
thing now, be okay to like change your mind.
You have to be open to life,
Be open
what it's
to
gonna
life.
bring you.
Yeah.
That's I think the ultimate message. Be
I
open
hate to sound like a bell dinging guru, but have you guys listened to The Power of Now, the
Oh,
Eckhart
it's
Tolle book?
fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I listened to
but
that
heard
book
of
on
it.
tape, and like even a lot of the stuff we're talking about now, I'm like, sounds like this person's worried about the future. Sounds like this person's caught up worrying about the past. And if they just were a little more present, none of these would be issues at all. I don't know.
Can you
I need to reread
summarize the
that.
book for us, please, so I don't have to go listen to it.
No, I think
no,
you should listen
really
to it.
should.
I think you should.
It's
I mean,
so
it
good.
was like life changing in
Yeah.
how it affected my attitude and like all the stress that I was wearing before about like what I think I'm supposed to be doing with my
Yeah.
life and like the plans for my future. And then I'll be like, God damn it, I wanted this thing to be done by this time and it's not done. And I'm like, wait, I made up that deadline. Why am
Dude.
I stressed out about it?
I'm struggling right now because I feel like I've gotten all my dreams,
Yeah.
everything that I said that I wanted.
Dope. Congrats, by the way.
Yeah, thanks.
Congrats
I'm like,
on
dude,
all sorts of stuff.
thank you. I just like literally I'm in the process right now we are getting a deal with Lionsgate to go out and sell a show that's based on my life that I'll be starring in.
Yeah. I mean, your ego is getting clapped right now. I love it.
But
That's awesome. Congrats.
it's like,
I can't wait to star as myself.
I know you're like, I will
as the
be.
greatest first date. Yeah.
Like, obviously, I will.
I just want you to know my SAG card is still active. So if
all
it's
my
any
agent
job, I'm good.
contacting.
Yeah.
But like, all of these things are happening, and I'm like, I've never been more stressed or anxious or like frazzled or on edge of my
Fire
life.
that book on tape up. You drive from Long Beach to here, you'll be done in a week.
Yeah. And it's just like, it's so hard because I'm just like, that feeling of being like, I have everything that I want. Like everything. Like
That's impossible,
the
though.
partner, the kid. Well, but I obviously don't have everything I want because
Yeah.
I'm not present right now. I'm not happy. But like, I mean, I have like the partner, the kids, like love my family life, love my house, like love Long Beach, love my everything with my jobs. But like, I'm just so, I can't enjoy any of it.
You're talking about things that you have. I have this, I
Right.
have that, I have that. Happiness isn't based on how much shit you can have.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's based on how you feel within.
But it's also that feeling of like, I've been working towards these goals.
Yeah.
And obviously the journey is the fun part. And
Yeah.
like I always talk about this, like the hustle is the fun part. Like I had so much fun when I was like, didn't have a lot of money and like was trying to figure things out and was trying to hustle and
Yeah.
was like, I don't know if I can afford the Uber to go out with my friends, but I'm going to like do this and do that. And like all of that was really fun. And then
Yeah.
like now everything's at my fingertips, like all my goals that had been reaching for at my fingertips. And now I'm like,
So this is where you had to get to recognize that getting all these goals accomplished
gonna make you
wasn't going to
happy.
make you happy.
Yeah.
It's not the thing. It's like an illusion, you know? I think that's, especially like in America, we're so like, I don't know, there's all these rules, you know, white picket fence and all this
Yeah.
stuff. And like you have to get married and,
Sure.
you know, just other cultures don't have that same rush to
Sure.
gathering all these things. But you should listen to this book because you're going to find that whether you have all this stuff or you don't have anything,
Yeah.
you can still be happy.
yeah.
But at this, you know, both of those things are okay.
Yeah.
in being happy because it's all within being present, and you've got it all up here.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
That'll be my follow-up episode. You'll listen to it.
Yeah.
It'll affect your life, and you go, "Hey, can you come back on?"
Yeah.
Because I listened to that thing and I'm happy.
Yeah.
now.
Oh yeah.
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 That book I read it probably like 5 years ago, and it changed everything for me with relationships specifically. Where I was like, I wasn't looking for that when I read the book. I was more looking for like, you know, I feel like I need to do this more and I'm feeling anxious about this and whatever. And that like, it was my relationship game changer because I realized how much hinged on overthinking about relationships and like bitterness and resentment and everything instead of like being in the exact moment.
And you could be so much better in a relationship when you're not like needing that to be happy or something.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if I just get, if him and I could just, I could
Sure.
be so happy. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, just be happy first. And then you can be a kick-ass
Right.
partner way easier, you know?
Well, and our couples therapist, like we just started with this person a few months ago, and his whole thing is he's like, literally like, you're always going to fight. You're always going to have miscommunications, but like, you have to learn how to show up like vulnerably in the moment and just even saying like, dude, I want to scream at you right now. And I feel so disconnected from you, and I just like want to be close to you, but I don't know how to feel close to you. And it hurts so bad right now. And just being able to like say that and having the other person
cute.
see you is like, then you're connecting, right? And the other person's
Yeah.
like, I want to connect with you too.
Because in that sort of communication, like, I almost felt like empathy for you now. You know?
Exactly.
I'm just like, oh, but if you're screaming at me, no empathy coming your
Wall.
way. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck
yeah.
you.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like that is part of being present too, right? Is like recognizing where you're at and just like where, like, you know, like I want to be close to you. Like, I don't want to feel this way.
Yeah.
And then the other person is like, oh, I'm right there with you. Like, I know that feeling. So I don't know. It's hard. I feel like I'm so happy, but I'm always just like reaching for the next thing, next trip, next thing.
I mean,
like,
that's like the human condition, you know?
yeah. And I love it. Like, I love planning things. I love planning parties. I love planning, traveling to visit friends.
No
like,
invite? All
I
good?
love it. You know?
Okay. It's been a year. Thought I did great on the last podcast. Haven't had one party invite.
really sad that you had to cancel. I had
Devastated.
been nightmare after Christmas. You guys, I was planning.
I mean, so were we all. The damn pandemic struck again.
Dude, that's sad.
And I was like, I thought it was over, pandemic's over. And then I'm looking at it's starting to happen
Everyone
again.
had freaking Omicron the same
And then
week
I'm
in
like,
January.
everyone's going to go home for Christmas. That's on the
know.
25th. My party's going to be on the 29th or something. And then that's exactly when you got it. And now you're the most contagious. And then I
so
will be
sad.
the super spreader.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I came down with COVID on January 6th. So yeah, it was
Samesies.
dude,
I had it the same
everyone had
time.
it the same week in January.
You know what, though? The next one's just going to be cracking.
Okay, more advice before we wrap it.
This feels relevant to what we were kind of just talking about.
Well, hello, Broad, a mysterious special guest. I have a question for you that is centered around attraction, and it's a little difficult to explain, but I'll try my best. So, I have a pattern, and it's been like that since forever, since I've had my first crush, basically, and that is the type of guy I'm attracted to. The type of man I'm attracted to is usually very selfish, very egocentric,
Emotionally unavailable.
empathetic, sometimes straight up narcissistic, tends to treat me not well, maybe for a certain amount of time, but after that it just goes downhill very fast. And my struggle with that is I know that it's my pattern. I've seen it happen so many times, but I can't help to feel this immense attraction to those kinds of people. And it's so instant too. This instant connection where I just feel so drawn to someone. And my therapist once made a joke that whenever I see someone that's attractive, in that kind of way to me, I should just close my eyes. And while that is sort of good advice, I guess, maybe, it also doesn't really help because
That sounds like bad advice.
I just feel that way. You know what I mean? And maybe I just still need to discover how attraction in more of a slow burn kind of way could feel like. But I was just wondering if you guys have any experiences with that or any opinions on how I can maybe build attraction with people who are not an instant wow, I am so hot for you and crazy and whatever. And interested in your opinions on that. Love your podcast, and bye.
It looks like we need to do a phone a friend session potentially.
I have one theory. Do you want to jump in here? You got something to say?
Come on.
Okay.
Yes, Allie on the mic.
It's only because I've had one beer.
This is great.
My advice for that situation is know your worth.
Yeah.
You're looking for what you're putting out. And if you want more or want better for yourself, then it'll come to you. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes me kind of sad.
But it's true. If you're constantly finding people that aren't emotionally available and you're basing it on attraction, it's because you're not looking for the right thing.
Do you have experience with this?
You're allowed to say whatever you want to say. Don't worry about me.
No, I mean, yes, I have experience with it, but it's also important to check in with yourself. I feel like if I find myself falling into that pattern, I'm in a place where I know I can self-reflect and figure out why I keep looking for that.
Yeah. But then what do you do? How do you stop when you're still I know my self-worth, but you're I know that I deserve more, but you're also oh, this is so, I don't know, this is a hot dynamic or something. I don't know. I don't really understand that.
I can't think of the word right now. Self-control? Maybe that's not the best advice, but
That word is.
I mean, that's real. We have control over the people we pursue or choose to engage with.
yeah. I don't know. That's all I have to say.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, it's tough though, right? Because
that's
you're
what I was thinking though throughout what she's saying. Exactly what you're saying is okay, well, remember Evan and Gray had an episode where they were like, Gray was really cute. He was going really hard about like, you accept the love that you think you deserve. Like, which is like a cliche. I think that's from Perks of Being a Wallflower or something, but it's like true. If you believe you like deserve someone who's shitty to you or narcissistic, and you don't believe you deserve someone, or even if you don't believe you're attracted to people who are going to take care of you, like that's going to manifest in your love life.
I have a theory
what's your
about this.
theory?
So the guy that she's describing reminds me of certain versions of myself, depending on what year we're going back to.
Okay.
And I think that at those times, I was selfish and self-obsessed. And what that resulted in was a dude who's doing so much cool shit. Like, I'm just like all about my life and making it cool. And I'm doing this and I'm doing that.
When do you feel like this was in your life?
Most of it.
All of it up
But, like,
until the past year or two?
The dude she's describing is just someone who's like into his own shit, and like, I think it's hard to maybe distract dudes who are doing cool shit with like, hey, now do you want to be in a relationship and totally shift gears and stop being so into all this cool stuff that I'm attracted to you doing? You know?
Yeah, and that might be why she's finding herself attracted to them.
Yeah.
Because they're
'Cause they're-
magnetic.
Oh,
and they're doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
It's like,
And it's hard to be like, hey, here's, would you like 50% of your life to now be dedicated to a person you never met? Because I'm here for it.
People who are unavailable, it's what we were talking about earlier, about trying to like win someone over. People who are unavailable are a challenge. It's interesting. It's unpredictable. It's up and down. It's exciting. It adds a whole new dynamic to like your everyday life, even when it's bad, when you're like, oh my God, he hasn't even responded to me in like 3 days. And like we spent all last week together, whatever. That's still exciting. I feel like I've done that for good portions of my dating where I'm just like, well, it's interesting. I'd rather be doing this than nothing. I'd rather be doing this than working on myself. Ew. I don't want to self-reflect. I want to be
How many hours
like,
a day do you do that? Ugh.
I want to be thrown into the abyss of like, being in an emotional roller coaster with somebody, because it distracts me from myself. And I think that that's kind of at the root of what she's talking about. Is like, it sucks to have to like sit with yourself, really do it. Like, I feel like we simulate sitting with ourselves a lot. Do you know what I'm saying? Like going to therapy sometimes, like you're going through the motions of like self-reflecting, but you're not actually staying home on a Friday night and feeling like a piece of shit and like feeling that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard now to do that because you just turn on a TV show or a podcast or whatever.
Yeah,
Right.
To drown
scroll on
that
your
out.
phone,
Scroll on the phone. But
She's asking how to not be attracted to those people, and the answer is you're going to be attracted to those
Yeah.
people. That's not the issue. Like, you don't get to pick who you're attracted to. You're going to see something, you're
Sure.
going to like it. Recognize when that person is worth your time. Recognize when that person would be successful in a relationship
When
with you.
it's attached to trauma that you're like, going for unavailable people, whatever.
And recognize that, like, not everyone that you're attracted to should be someone that you're pursuing a relationship with, Because don't expect that attraction to go away.
I think setting parameters though too. Like when I was a teenager, like I wasn't really having sex with people, so I would be really into guys, and then 2 or 3 months into knowing them, and I wouldn't have sex with them, I would be like, ew, like this dude's a loser. As an adult, when I was hooking up with people and staying the night with them, it was really easy to get wrapped up and like ignoring things and like being distracted because it's like fun and exciting. But I feel like if you do, remember we had this relationship expert on who was like, she had this 12 date rule. She's like, don't fuck a guy until you've gone on 12 dates.
Maria.
She was like not real dates. No, she was like not real dates. She counted a date as a 2-hour period of time spent together. Could be on the phone, could be whatever. She's like, I know it sounds like a long time, but like,
so you
don't
could
have
knock out 12 dates in
in a
like
week.
3 days,
Yeah.
or something
Because
like
really,
that.
that's only 24 hours. And
Right,
saying don't
exactly.
sleep with someone before 24 hours of knowing them is very reasonable.
Reasonable,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
But it sounds
Okay.
crazy. But her definition of it, and basically, it was for that reason. She's like, spending that much time with someone, like even if you are attracted to them, like sexually, you're probably gonna find out some shit in that 24 hours of concentrated time with them, where you're either gonna be like, dude, I should not be pursuing a relationship with this person, or you're like, you know what, green light, I'm going to go for it.
Right.
Or you can sort out within yourself, I just want to have fun with this person and just want to fuck them.
Yeah, check them in that friends with Benny's category.
Exactly.
But it's about giving yourself that time, right? Because I feel like, I don't know, like even now, like being engaged, having my stable partner, sometimes there will be guys I'll be attracted to. And then like, this happened actually at the workshop. I did this workshop where I learned how to make houses out of Cobb. I was in Oregon for 12 days. Cobb is like this mixture of clay and sand and straw, and you could build. It was
How
fucking
long were you
cool.
there?
12 days.
Wow.
It was sick.
You know, I got 10 acres in Pioneer Town.
Dude, okay, I'm going to another workshop in September on plastering and earthen floors. You know why it makes so much fucking sense for Joshua Tree too? Because of the passive solar energy. The Cobb walls are like this thick. They absorb heat during the day and release it at night. So even though it was 95 in Eugene when we were doing this workshop, the Cobb houses never went above 72 during the day. And at night when it dropped into the 40s, they were never below 68 degrees. Perfect temp all the time. We'll chat.
Do you have
we'll
windows in these Cobb houses?
Yeah, you can do whatever you
like
want.
dual pane glass
I'll
windows?
show you photos. You can do whatever you want. And what's also cool is you can repurpose materials. So you can use like old sliding glass doors. But with the Cobb, you can make them into beautiful like oval windows, you know, with arches. You can turn anything into anything you want it to be.
Cobb.
It's the future. So anyway.
It's the past.
It is the past, but the past is the future. The past is the key to the future.
The power of now.
That's the power of now. Boom. So anyway, there was this guy at the workshop, and I was like, oh my God, he's so hot. He definitely was hot.
Are you in an open engagement?
No. But, you know, still attracted to people, even if you're with someone. So I was like, oh my God, he's so hot. And then I was talking to him, you know, and if I had been single, I probably would have slept with him in the first few days. You know, I'd have been like, let's go.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you're at the workshop. Why not?
But by the end of the workshop, you
camping.
find out he's into dog fighting.
Well, no, but it was like on day 4, I literally found out that like a 19-year-old girl was pregnant and he was hooking up with this other girl who was on the farm and like all this stuff.
Everyone had the same thought as you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But because I had spent that time like just talking to him, and then also some of the shit he said like a few days into talking to him, I was like, not into that. And then after like 12 days of spending time with him, I was like, yeah, no, I would not hook up with this guy. Mm-hmm. And that, I don't know, I learned something from that where I'm like, damn, like, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know. I feel like take your time, set some parameters.
Set some parameters
for yourself.
Yeah, I never minded that whole part of like sleeping with someone and then finding out they're not perfect, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, I guess this is not it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was never like, no, why did I sleep with them in the beginning when it was so fun?
It's not that. No. It's not that. It's when you sleep with them and then you ignore the red flags because you're like, but I really like this.
Because the sex was good.
It's fun.
Or you just want to be in a
exciting.
relationship. I think a lot of times like people will ignore all of that because you're ready to be in a
Or
relationship.
you want to win them over. You like the challenge.
Or you're just trying to
And then
figure
you
out
get
that
stuck in a
time.
situation. Everything always
you gotta
comes
listen to the whole
full
thing,
circle.
guys.
Yeah.
Gotta listen to the whole
Don't
thing.
tune in
Circle.
45 minutes in. Or tune out at 45 minutes. But yeah, I don't know. Spend some time with yourself.
Yeah.
Do what Ali said. Know your self-worth. Mm-hmm. Recognize that if you're with guys that treat you like shit, you're treating yourself like shit.
Damn, that's a good way to put it right there.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think also you got to think of it like your friend. Like if I was seeing Jess and Jess was with some shitty dude, I'd be like, baby, why are you doing that to yourself? I love
Just not
you.
gonna listen. What's the matter with everybody? How many people we try to tell them, well, what are you doing? You're better than this guy. Get out of here.
No, I love you. You
And
don't
they go
deserve
like,
that.
I know, you're so right.
Think of yourself in that third person. Be like, I love you, dude. Why are you with this piece of shit?
They never listen. No one ever listens.
But if you think about it to yourself, I feel like that helps, you know?
Yeah.
I do that when I'm being anxious. I'm like, how would I handle a friend who's like in an anxiety attack right now? I'd be like, you're good. Just breathe. It's going to pass. And then I think of that to myself, you know? I'm like, as I'm a friend talking to myself, like, you're good. It's going to pass. And then I'm like, okay, that's true. I don't know.
Yeah.
Talk
you
to yourself
can't-
like someone you love.
You can't just
Talk to
not be
yourself
attracted
like
to
someone you
people.
love. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That could be my book title. Coming out in a couple of years, Broads. That's the next goal.
It's the next thing.
You're going to get
Add
an
it to the
email
list.
tomorrow. Hey, we saw we'd like to. You're like, damn it, another goal accomplished too quickly. What do I have to look forward to?
Life isn't worth living anymore. Everything's too easy.
It's all too perfect.
I'm too rich. Oh, man. Well,
Thank you
Erik,
so much.
another banger.
Another banger.
Thanks for having
another
me.
banger. And I mean, these relationship questions never end. So
You're always welcome back on.
Always
But I
welcome
have
back
depth,
on.
you know. I'm not just the relationship guru. I can come back here and talk about
Cars.
hot rod suspension or
That's
how
really,
to make skate videos.
honestly, that's really what our listeners have been.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, except we just started teaching our 3-year-old how to skateboard today.
Okay.
Very
She
cute.
was in her little like tutu with her little Converse on the sidewalk.
Do you have carpet on top of the skateboard?
No, but that's so smart.
Because the grip tape, you know, that'll cut your kid up. But
Yeah.
real little kid when they're
Oh,
learning,
that's a
put
great
carpet on it.
idea.
Yeah.
Good
Ease
tip.
them into it. Told you, I got that.
Got those tips.
Good tip.
Okay, where can the people find you?
Instagram, the sky's the limit. Instagram, risingsun.pioneertown. Instagram.
You guys got an Airbnb? What's up?
Yeah, let's get to that. You guys should go to the Airbnb. Hook you guys
love.
up, influencer style. You know,
do it.
It's summer, so
I'll
people
wait until
aren't-
it's not 120 degrees.
Yeah,
but
people
thank you
aren't
for
running to the
offer.
desert right now. That's why I'm trying to get this pitch out.
Well,
You know,
some people aren't. Some
AC
of us,
is pumping.
You need a Cobb house.
Yeah.
some of us like
We'll chat
120
about that.
degrees.
Yeah, she goes to Palm Springs in July, like every weekend.
love it.
Pioneer Town's about 10 degrees cooler than
Yeah,
Palm
it's not
Springs.
not quite as hot.
Yeah, just
I
go
like
up
to
the hill a
cook.
little bit.
No, but take you up on that offer for climbing season.
Oh yeah, that's the first and only place I climbed.
It's fucking hard. It's like one of the hardest places to climb in California.
I'm like a thrill seeker. I've done
Yeah.
bungee jumping and whatever,
it's like the one thing we don't want to do.
all
bungee
the
jumping.
stuff. And rock climbing was by far the most like scary,
really?
adrenaline pumping thing I've ever
Ooh,
done.
were you doing like trad climbing? Like were you placing
Oh heck if I
gear?
know! I bought something on Groupon, and I was next thing you know, I'm sticking my hand in a hole.
Oh yeah.
and it's like
okay,
100
yeah.
feet
okay, yeah.
down, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's some
God.
like old frail man who's got me like
on belay.
roped in that I'm heavier than, and I'm just thinking about like simple physics and going, I'm gonna watch this
doesn't
dude
work.
over the hill if I fall.
I mean, I used to do that as a skinny 12-year-old girl, though, with like adult men, and I would get launched like 15 feet up, but then you come back down.
It just like eases them down a bit. or
it's
something.
really not that big of a deal, but
Man, it is so
Truly
cool
terrifying.
yeah, I don't do that rope stuff.
though. Oh, so what are you doing?
Bouldering
Oh, okay.
with pads. Too much gear, too much money to invest, and too scary. But you have to spend like thousands of dollars on the rack to get all like the gear to place if you're like trad climbing, and it's scary. It's scary.
Maybe we do when it's not so hot. We go out to Joshua Tree. We go bouldering.
That'd
stay
be
at
fucking
the crib.
fun.
Yeah. Just saying.
Can we do an interview with both of you guys?
Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do you guys do like remote podcast episodes?
Well, okay, we're gonna end this podcast and we're gonna chat soon.
Yeah,
broads.
because I need to use the restroom.
Chat
Love you
soon.
all. All right, broads.
Peace, y'all.
Bye, broads. Chat soon.
Chat